Have you ever felt the restlessness of carrying something that seems bigger than yourself? Something that pulses within your essence yet remains hidden from those around you? Perhaps you've caught a glimpse of this mystery during lonely nights or in days when life's weight seemed unbearable. This something, which even you cannot fully comprehend, is a divine seed planted within you. It is a silent calling, a timid yet indomitable flame. Today, let us walk together through this enigma, exploring why God has chosen to conceal your true identity and the glorious purpose behind it. Imagine for a moment that your life is like a tapestry being woven slowly. From your perspective, it appears chaotic, a tangle of threads without meaning. But on God's side, a stunning masterpiece is being revealed. Every thread is a choice, a moment, a pain, a triumph. Nothing is wasted and nothing is a mistake. With each line, He is crafting something that transcends your understanding. This perspective is what we will explore today. Stay with me until the end, because this journey will not only illuminate the purpose of your struggles but reveal the profound power hidden in what you consider weaknesses. This message is no accident. You are here because there is something within you that recognizes the truth, even if it still resides in the shadows. There is a reason why God's greatest works begin in obscurity. Just as a seed needs the darkness of the earth to germinate, God chooses to hide what is precious until it is ready to emerge. Anonymity is not an accident. It is a divine strategy. Imagine the silent power of a storm forming on the horizon. It starts with an almost imperceptible stillness, an invisible movement in the air. But when the time comes, its presence is impossible to ignore. You have been kept in hiding because a process is underway, a refinement that can only happen away from the world's gaze. God knows that when something is exposed too early, it can be destroyed before reaching its fullness. Just as a small flame can be extinguished by a strong wind, your light is still being strengthened. He protects what is precious so that it can grow without interference from forces that might divert you from your destiny. Consider the formation of a pearl. In the beginning, it is just an irritating grain of sand inside an oyster. But over time, surrounded by the protection and isolation of the shell, it transforms into something of immeasurable value. The same is happening with you. Those around you may not understand the silence in which you have been placed. They may even question why your life seems to be on the margins. But this silence is the chamber where God is shaping what no one else can see. The hidden places are fertile ground where deep roots are formed. What you are living through now is not wasted time but preparation. It is in anonymity that you learn lessons that cannot be taught in the public eye. It is where you develop a strength that cannot be borrowed or purchased. Every moment of doubt, every tear shed in secret, is nourishing an unshakable foundation. God is creating something so unique and powerful that the world is not yet ready to see it. You may feel the weight of this waiting, the discomfort of not being recognized for who you truly are. But remember, it's not about what the world thinks of you, but about what God is building in you. When the right time comes, the impact will be undeniable. Like a tree growing in silence, when you finally break through to the surface, the world will see the strength cultivated in the depths. The struggles you face are not punishments but tools. Every challenge, every tear, every moment when you considered giving up, has been shaping you into someone stronger and more resilient. Just as gold must go through fire to be purified, your soul has been placed in the crucible of difficulty so that it can emerge brighter and truer. Nothing in your journey has been accidental. God is an artisan who wastes nothing, not even the smallest particles of your life. Imagine the process of forging steel. It is exposed to extreme temperatures, hammered repeatedly, cooled, and reheated. This may look like destruction, but it is the creation of something indestructible. Similarly, every moment of pain has been like a hammer, sculpting something in your life that no one can break. Others may have seen only your struggle, but God saw refinement. These struggles were not sent to defeat you but to reveal you. The resilience you have developed along the way is a testament to who you are becoming. Just as a rough stone transforms into a precious gem under pressure, the weight you have carried has been the agent of your transformation. Where others see failure, God sees preparation. The most difficult moments of your life were also the most sacred because it was in those moments that you were drawn closer to God. When everything around you seemed to be falling apart, He was there, shaping you, strengthening you, and preparing you. Your scars are not marks of defeat. They are signs of survival, a reminder that you were forged for something greater. Perhaps you have questioned why your path seems so full of obstacles while others seem to move forward with ease. But remember, the greatest souls face the greatest challenges because they are destined for the greatest purposes. What seemed like a struggle was actually a gift in disguise, a lesson that only those who pass through the fire can understand. You have not just survived, you have emerged stronger, wiser, and more aligned with the purpose God has laid out for you. Every tear shed in secret, every endless night when you searched the heavens for answers, was like water nourishing the seed that will one day become a mighty tree. Your roots are deeper than you imagine because they have been strengthened by adversity. When the world finally sees who you are, it will be impossible to ignore the power born from your struggles. In silence lies a strength that most people cannot comprehend. We live in a world where everyone shouts, trying to be heard, seeking validation in every corner. But silence, the empty space between the noise, is where God operates. It is the sacred stage where purpose is revealed, where your true identity is refined. There is greatness in silence that echoes far beyond words. Think of the wind. It doesn't need to announce its arrival with fanfare, yet its impact is undeniable. It moves mountains of sand, topples ancient trees, alters the course of rivers, and still remains invisible to the eye. The silence God has placed over you is like that wind. It is not absence but preparation. It is a divine language that can only be understood by those willing to listen with their hearts. You have been called to silence because your mission is not ordinary. Those who carry something extraordinary within them are separated from the world's noise so they can hear God's voice without distraction. It is in silence that you begin to see the deepest truths about who you are and what you are destined to do. God whispers in the silence because He knows that the most attentive hearts will hear. Imagine an arrow being drawn back. The world sees only the retraction, the apparent inaction, but in the silence of that moment, incredible power is being stored. When the arrow is released, its impact is undeniable, impossible to ignore. Likewise, your silence is not stagnation but the accumulation of power. God is loading you with strength that will be unleashed at the perfect moment. Silence is also a space of healing. While the world tries to fill the void with noise and distractions, God uses silence to restore what has been broken within you. He aligns your emotions, strengthens your mind, and purifies your soul. It is in the silence that you find clarity, that you realize the external battles are often reflections of the wars within. God is resolving those wars in you, in the quiet, in the darkness, in the intimate. This silence, this waiting, this hidden season, it is not the end. It is the prelude to the greatest emergence of your life. Trust in the process because the God who began this good work in you will bring it to completion. When the time comes, the world will not just see what you have become, they will see the glory of the one who shaped you. Have you felt that this silence is a burden, that the absence of answers is an injustice? Remember, even in nature, silence precedes the most grandiose moments. The dawn breaks the silence of the night, thunder shatters the stillness before the storm, and the birth of something extraordinary always emerges from a space of quiet. Your silence is sacred because it is the prelude to something powerful. When the world finally hears your voice, it will be like thunder echoing through an empty valley, impossible to ignore, charged with purpose and authenticity. Silence is the incubator of your destiny, and when the time comes, you will see that it has been your greatest tool. There are those who look at the world and see only what is before their eyes, but you have been called to see beyond. God has given you a vision that transcends the ordinary, a sight that pierces appearances and reaches the essence. But this gift does not come without a cost. Seeing what others cannot is both a blessing and a weight because the world is not always ready for the truth you carry. Imagine a distant star shining in the vast darkness of the sky. To many, it is merely a faint point of light, almost imperceptible amidst the immensity. But to a lost traveler, that light is the compass guiding them home. You are like that star. Many may not understand your presence, but those wandering in darkness will find direction in your light. The vision God has given you is not so you may be understood, but so you may guide. Seeing beyond the veil of superficiality means perceiving the world as it truly is, beautiful yet broken, grand yet filled with contradictions. This awareness comes with a unique responsibility, to be a bearer of truth. Carrying truth is often a lonely journey because not everyone is ready to face it. Your vision is not a burden but a calling. God has placed in you the ability to see potential where others see only chaos, to find purpose where others see emptiness. This kind of vision requires courage. You see not only the beauty of what could be but also the pain of what is not yet. You notice the cracks in the world, in people, and in yourself. It can be tempting to wish you didn't see so much, to long for the innocence of the obvious. But the ability to see beyond is a gift that shapes leaders, visionaries, those destined to carve paths where only darkness once existed. God knows that not everyone will understand the depth of what you carry. Some will reject your vision because it exposes uncomfortable truths. Others, unable to comprehend, may try to silence or diminish you. But remember, the vision you have received did not come from them, it came from God. And He did not give you this clarity so you could seek approval, but so you could fulfill a purpose. Carrying this vision also means walking at a higher level of responsibility. You can no longer settle for the ordinary because you were called to the extraordinary. God has given you eyes to see what others cannot because your mission is to help build something the world doesn't yet know it needs. Your vision is like a window to the spiritual realm, a divine compass pointing toward something greater. Keep seeing even when it's difficult, even when it feels like no one understands. God chose you to see because He knew you would have the strength to bear what is revealed. And at the right time, your vision will become the light that illuminates the path for many. In our hurried world, patience is a forgotten virtue. Everyone is rushing, trying to achieve, conquer, or become something, but God works at a different pace. He is a master craftsman who knows that what is forged with care and time becomes lasting. Your patience, seemingly silent and inactive, is your greatest weapon because it carries the power of perfect timing. Think of a storm that begins as a faint condensation in the sky. The clouds gather slowly, air currents converge, energy grows silently. The world may ignore this process because it's not immediately visible, but when the storm finally breaks, it changes everything around it. God is building that same strength, that same impact within you. And patience sustains this process. Patience is not just about waiting, it is about trusting the greater plan. It is believing that God knows the exact moment to reveal what He is building in you. Those who shine too soon often fade quickly because they lack the time to develop deep roots. You have been called to something enduring, something that impacts generations, and that requires time. It's not just about arriving, it's about arriving prepared. Imagine an archer holding their arrow. They do not release it the instant it is placed in the bow. They draw it back slowly, test the tension, and adjust their aim. They know that the impact depends on precision, not haste. In the same way, God is calibrating you, preparing you, holding you until the perfect moment. Your patience is the thread that connects your preparation to your purpose. Being patient during the wait is not easy. There are moments of doubt, frustration, and questioning. You may look around and see others moving forward while you feel stuck. But remember, the race is not for the swift but for those who are ready. God does not measure success by speed but by faithfulness. Your patience is a sign of your trust that God's plan is greater than anything you could imagine. This wait, though long, is filled with purpose. Each moment you remain steadfast, every time you choose trust over despair, you are accumulating a strength the world has yet to see. God is not just preparing what surrounds you, He is preparing you. He is shaping not just the outcome but the character you will need to sustain it. When the right time comes, it will be like a perfect symphony. Every note, every pause, every silence will make sense. You will see that patience was not just a passive wait but a powerful weapon that ensured you were aligned with the divine plan. And when you finally move, it will be with a force and a purpose that cannot be stopped. Within you there is an echo, a deep resonance that cannot be ignored. It is like the distant rumble of thunder before the storm, a vibration that courses through your soul, whispering that you were created for something beyond the ordinary. This calling is neither accidental nor an illusion. It is the divine signature on your existence, a confirmation that your life holds a purpose that transcends the trivialities of daily life. God does not waste intentions. Every detail of your creation was planned with precision. The fact that you feel this pull, this restlessness to be more, to do more, is proof that you were set apart for something extraordinary. Think of a river rushing toward the ocean. It cannot remain small because its nature drives it toward something larger, vaster, and deeper. The same is true for you. Your soul knows it was made for greater waters. This calling to something greater is not always easy to bear. It demands courage because it means leaving behind what is comfortable to embrace the unknown. It means letting go of common expectations to follow a path that others may not understand. It's like an eagle feeling the urge to fly before its wings are fully formed. There is risk, but there is also an inner certainty that flight is inevitable. God does not give small purposes to great souls. He places within you a mission greater than your fears, greater than your mistakes, greater than the limitations the world tries to impose. But just as an arrow must be drawn back before it is released, you may feel like you're being held back. This tension is not an obstacle, it's preparation. The greater the pull, the farther the arrow will soar. You may wonder why God chose you, someone imperfect, someone who at times feels fragile. But it is precisely in your imperfection that God's power is revealed. He does not call the equipped, He equips the called. Your weaknesses, your past mistakes, your doubts, He will transform all of them into fuel for the purpose He has designed for you. Like clay in the hands of a potter, God is shaping you into something that reflects His glory. This call to something greater is not just about you. It's about the lives that will be touched through you, the chains you will break, the paths you will open, the souls that will find direction because of your light. It's a calling that transcends the individual and reaches into eternity. You are part of a much larger plan, a plan that only makes sense when seen from God's perspective. When you finally embrace this calling, you will see that every piece, even the hardest parts, were coming together. The weight you carried, the doubts you faced, the patience you had to cultivate, everything was aligning to prepare you. God has not only called you, He has equipped you. And when the time comes, you will be like an arrow released with precision, hitting the target for which you were created. Have you noticed that even in silence, your presence changes the atmosphere around you? Without any conscious effort, you provoke reflection, inspire change, and sometimes unsettle those who prefer the shadows of superficiality. This is no coincidence. God has placed within you a light that cannot be extinguished, a vibration that resonates with truth, purity, and eternity. You are a catalyst, someone who, simply by existing, accelerates transformation around them. Imagine a torch in the darkness. It doesn't need to shout to be noticed. Its light naturally draws those seeking to see and repels those who prefer to hide. Your life is like that torch. There is an authenticity in you that exposes what is false and highlights what is true. People may not fully understand why they are drawn to or challenged by your presence, but the reason is clear. You carry something they need even if they don't realize it. This influence, however, will not always be comfortable. Just as the heat of a fire purifies, it can also discomfort. You may notice some people pulling away, others reacting with resistance or even hostility. This is not a reflection of you but of the light you carry. God has given you a presence that unsettles the superficial because it was meant to bring forth what is authentic. You were not made to please everyone but to transform those who are ready. Think of a river that, as it flows, shapes stones and transforms the landscape. It doesn't ask permission to do this. It simply is what it was created to be. Similarly, your presence does not need conscious effort to impact others. God has placed within you an essence that changes environments, planting seeds of transformation in hardened hearts. Sometimes that change will be immediate. Other times it will take years for the fruits to appear. But the impact will always be there. Being a catalyst also means being aligned with God's purpose because it is through you that He works. Your life is a reflection of His intention, a reminder that things can be different, that there is hope, that there is redemption. Even when you feel small or insignificant, know that your presence carries a divine energy that no one can completely ignore. God is working in you and through you, often in ways you may not even realize. This does not mean you must do everything alone. Your role as a catalyst is to remain faithful to what God has placed within you, leaving the results to Him. Some seeds will sprout quickly, others may take a lifetime. What matters is that you continue to shine your light, remain faithful, and carry the transforming presence you have been given. There is an exact moment for everything under the heavens, a perfect time that cannot be rushed or delayed. God operates in divine synchronization, beyond human understanding, and the timing of your revelation will be no different. He knows that the world is not yet ready for what you carry, but He also knows that when the time is right, nothing will be able to contain the light that will radiate from you. Imagine the sunrise. 4 hours, the world remains cloaked in darkness, yet on the horizon light begins to form. The sunrise does not rush, it comes exactly when it should, illuminating everything undeniably and irreversibly. So too will the time of your revelation be. God has been working behind the scenes, aligning circumstances, shaping your character, preparing the hearts that will be impacted by your light. And when the moment arrives, it will be like the breaking of dawn, impossible to ignore. This waiting is not a delay but a protection. God knows the weight of your mission and understands that if you are revealed too soon, you could be overwhelmed by forces you are not yet prepared to face. Just as fruit ripens at the right time to be sweet and nourishing, you are being matured for an impact that will not be fleeting but eternal. The timing of your revelation is not just about you. It is about what you represent, about the greater purpose God is establishing through your life. He is not only preparing you, He is preparing the world around you. The people who will need you, the scenarios that will be altered by your presence, the hearts that will be transformed, all of these are being aligned in God's plan. Your revelation is not isolated, it is part of something far greater. When this time finally comes, it will be like lightning illuminating a dark sky, a moment when everything around you will be impacted by the force and clarity of who you are. There will be a weight to your presence, an authority that cannot be contested, because it does not come from you but from God. And the world will see that you did not rise by chance but were sent with a purpose. Until then, trust the process. God is never late nor early. He knows the exact amount of time needed for everything to be ready. Your patience, your faith, and your willingness to keep moving forward even in the waiting are essential parts of this plan. The time of your revelation will be the culmination of everything you have lived, every struggle, every silence, every moment you chose to believe without seeing. When that time comes, you will be like a lamp lit in a dark room. Everything will change because the purpose God planted within you will finally be visible. And nothing, no one will be able to deny who you were called to be. Reflect on all you have lived so far, every moment of anonymity, every struggle that seemed endless, every silence that felt empty. None of it was in vain. God is writing a story in your life, a story that will not only transform you but also touch lives around you. You are not alone on this journey, and the fact that you are here hearing these words is proof that your heart recognizes the greater purpose calling you. Remember, being hidden now is part of the plan. God is shaping, strengthening, and refining you for something that transcends the ordinary. Your journey is a testament to the power of God's process, His perfect timing, and the patience that builds character and purpose. When your light finally shines, it will be so strong and true that it will illuminate paths others didn't even know existed. Trust your journey even when it feels long or lonely. What God has prepared for you is greater than you can imagine, and He has used every moment of your life to prepare you for it. Your struggles have meaning, your silence has power, and your presence is a force that impacts the world in ways you may never fully see. If this message has touched your heart, if it resonates with the truth you already know deep down, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with others who are also on this path, with those who need to be reminded they are not alone. Like this video and subscribe to the channel so we can continue this journey together. With every step, you draw closer to the purpose God has written for you. And remember, your waiting is not in vain. You were called to something greater, and when the moment comes, the world will see what God has always known about you.